and he said, "So, my dear, the fulfillment of Brahma has been fulfilled, the fulfillment of his benediction. You have devoured me, now I am out, so now let me pass." And she said, "Oh, you are very intelligent, Hanuman." She said, "Now you can pass, and I wish you all good fortune in finding Sita." So he continued on. And then another huge gigantic Rakshasa appeared, Rakshasi, and she opened what happened with her. She saw Hanuman flying high. So she had a very great mystic power. With her hand she grabbed on to Hanuman's shadow, which was over the ocean, and she captured him. And he was way up there, and he couldn't move. What is this? Couldn't move. And then he looked down, and there was a Rakshasi with her hand on his shadow, and he was thinking, so he came down, and what is the problem? She said, "I will eat you for my breakfast today." So she opened her mouth very big, and he became big, and she became bigger, and then he became very small, and he went to her mouth, and he walked on down through her throat, and he went to her heart, and then he took his very sharp claws and rived open her heart, and then he flew out of her mouth, and as he was flying out, she just fell in the sea and died. And then he continued on. Radhanath Swami described Hanuman's search for Sita. And when he attained Sri Lanka, he decided that the best thing would be to wait till night. So he hid on the mountain until the evening. Then he reduced himself to the size of a cat, and he came to the northern gate of Sri Lanka, the main gate, and his there was this huge man eating Rakshasi, and she saw this little teeny monkey. She said, "Who are you? What is your business?" He looked at her and said, "Who are you, and what is your business?" She said, "I am the personification of Sri Lanka, and I am the servant of Ravana, and no one could pass me without being destroyed. So prepare to die, little monkey man." So then she came, and she slapped Hanuman hard as she could, and Hanuman just stood there, and his with his fist he punched her in the breast, and she went flying to the ground, and she was completely defeated, and she said, "My dear monkey, I surrender to you. Please do not harm me. I am woman. You are not supposed to harm women." She said, "A long time ago, Lord Brahma came, and he told me that one day a monkey is going to defeat you, and when that day comes, you can know." Soon after that, all the Rakshasa, Ravan, and the whole city of Lanka will be destroyed. So, my dear Hanuman, please feel free to enter Lanka and do the business of your Lord. So it was night, and that night the moon was shining very bright. So he was looking around, trying to find Sita, and he saw the most beautiful city he had ever seen. After all, Hanuman was born and raised in the Kiskinda jungles. Kiskinda Kshetra is all jungle and mountains, and here the whole city was constructed by Vishkarma, and all the buildings were the most precious marble, ivory, jewels, gold. So he began to creep and look through the windows of all the major places. But
And all the buildings were the most precious marble, ivory, jewels, gold. So he began to creep and look through the windows of all the major palaces. But he could not find, but he could find no one that fit the description of Sita. And when he came upon the most masterfully created of all palaces, that of Ravana, and in the main room the floor was ivory, the walls were marble and jewels, and it was all lit up because the moon was glistening and reflecting off the jewels, and he could see everything and everyone, although it was the middle of the night, and there was a large dais made of crystals, and on it were beautiful silken cushions, and in the center lay the huge, monstrous demon Ravana. He had 10 heads of dark complexion, limbs that limbs that were like lightning bolts. He was so powerful that the demigods in the heavens trembled at the thought of his name. And he had these proud battle wounds, one scar from being struck by the thunderbolt of Indra, one scar from being struck by Sudarshana Chakra of Vishnu, disc of Vishnu. And as he lay there, Hanuman was thinking, this is the ugliest, most hideous, most frightening, and terrible form I have ever seen. And next to Ravana was a beautiful woman, his wife Mandodari. And around the bed there were thousands of beautiful dancing girls who would sing and dance for him every night. And Hanuman was examining each and every one of them carefully. But none of them fit the description of Sita. So he looked everywhere and he was becoming discouraged. Perhaps Ravana has already eaten her. He is the Rakshasa. Perhaps she is dead. Perhaps she was cast in the ocean and drowned. Where is she? And then he sat to rest. And he saw a beautiful garden of Ashoka trees. So he went into the garden. And under a particular tree, he saw the most beautiful woman in all creation. She was wearing just a single piece of cloth. She was emaciated from fasting. She looked like she was in tremendous distress, tears in her eyes. And he could understand that this is Sita. And there were all these Rakshasas around her, threatening her, harassing her, and making her life very miserable. Soon after that, he saw Ravana coming with thousands of his wives following him. And Ravana came and began to harass. First, he was very sweet and polite with Sita. He said, oh, you are so beautiful. Your lotus eyes are so sweet. In fact, when the Creator made you, he resigned after making you. He could not make anything any better. And he was using very flattering words. So, now my dear, accept all the wealth of my kingdom. Sit on my throne with me. All my other thousands of queens will be your maidservants from this day on. Just accept me as your husband. And Sita said, my dear Ravana, why don't you just enjoy your other wives? You have so many nice other queens. I am the faithful and chaste wife of Rama, and there is nothing that will ever break my chastity. So Ravana became very angry. He said, I have given you 12 months to surrender to me. I have raped you by now, but I once raped the wife of one of the great sages, and he cursed me that I can only come together with a woman if it is by her will. Otherwise, I will immediately die. So you must surrender to me, and you have 2 more months. Otherwise, I will eat your lovely form. Because there was no curse against him eating beautiful women. So Sita, she told him, very soon Ram will come and he will destroy you, all your Rakshasa armies. You do not know who you are dealing with. Rama is the supreme personality of Godhead. So then Ravana said, you have 2 months to surrender. And he walked away. And Sita, she just began to cry and she began to chant the names of Rama and Lakshmana. And at that time, Hanuman was thinking, I must pacify her. But how? She has been tricked in so many ways that she will think I am just the Rakshasa disguised as a monkey. So he began to very sweetly sing the praises of Lord Ramchandra. He began to describe how Rama married Sita, the beauty of this great ceremony, how they lived in Ayodhya, how Ram was banished to the forest, the beautiful pastimes between Sita and Ram at the foot of the Chitrakoot mountain, how Ravana stole Sita, and all the pastimes of Rama in between. And when she heard this, she became very enlightened. Her heart was full of pleasure, and she asked, who is speaking like this? And then Hanuman came and started coming close to her. And when she saw Hanuman, she said, you are a Ravana, disguised as a monkey to trick me? She said, I will not talk to you anymore. And then Hanuman began to narrate more and more of the glories of Ram. And she said, if you are actually Ram's devotee, what are the qualities of Ram? And he began to narrate all the beautiful qualities in the body of Ram. And then he said that Rama has given me this ring to give to you, just to show you that I am his messenger and to prove that he is about to come. Sita was about to commit suicide. She was about to strangle herself with the braid of her own hair when Hanuman came. And when she saw the ring, she pressed it to her breast and she said, this is the ring of Rama. And they began to speak together, and Sita just began to meditate on the beauty of Rama. And she began to remember the beautiful pastimes they had together in Chitrakoot, which was actually the most pleasing place in the Leela, when they were just living together in a beautiful forest, exchanging the ultimate loving reciprocation of the Supreme Lord and his eternal consort. And then she said, Rama is all powerful. Why does he not come and take me away from this place? Hanuman said, he doesn't know where you are. But now that I have found you, all your problems are about to be solved. In fact, Sita, I can take you away from this place right now. You climb on my back. Then he expanded to huge, gigantic size. He said, get on my back. I will destroy all these Rakshasas and take you to Rama immediately today.
And Sita said, I know you can do it, Hanumanji, but I am another man's wife. I cannot touch you. And besides that, Rama wants to kill these Rakshasa and do it himself. So Hanuman said, yes, this is your glory. So then Hanuman with Sita blessings he took leave of her, and he began to think that I want to see the prowess of Ravana Rakshas army. I want to see what they really are all about. I have heard so many great things about their strength and power, and that will be very helpful to Rama in this war against these Rakshasa. So he began to tear down all these Asoka tree from the most precious garden of Ravana, and the news came to Ravana, so he sent 80,000 soldiers to kill this monkey. Hanuman was sitting on the gate of that garden, and you have come. What have you come for? We have come to kill you. So he was just sitting there, wagging his tail at them like a monkey, and when they attacked him with thousands of arrows and clubs, he just took one iron bar and destroyed every one of them. He started smashing their heads, their arms, their legs, their limbs. There was just blood flowing in all directions. So whatever remainders of these 80,000 man army were left, they ran to Ravana and said, "This monkey is impossible to defeat." So then he sent the son of his commander in chief, and he went there, and Hanuman immediately killed him. Then Ravana sent his own son, the one of his younger sons, and he came to that place. He was a great mystic. He began to shoot arrows and Hanuman. He was flying in the sky, creating so many illusions, and finally Hanuman realized that this person is very powerful and he is very dangerous, so I better kill him right away. So, although this problem was in the air, flying, shooting arrows at Hanuman, Hanuman dashed at him with his fists, slaughtered all his horses, broke his chariot to pieces, grabbed the demon, flung him around 1,000 times, smashed him on the ground, and he was dead. Something like that. The news came back to Ravana. He was mortified. My God, my own son dead. He turned to his most powerful eldest son Indrajit, who was undefeatable. Indrajit even defeated Indra. That is where he got that name. Indrajit means he who defeated Indra. He said, Indrajit, go kill this monkey. Indrajit took a whole army with him, ordered his chariot. He started shooting thousands of arrows at a time. Each arrow was so sharp and so powerful, and Hanuman was just jumping around, and not a single arrow could touch him. So Indrajit came to the conclusion that this monkey cannot be killed, but perhaps he could be captured. So he invoked this serpent astra, and he shoot this arrow, and it becomes a serpent, and it tied around the body of Hanuman, and Hanuman was utterly unable to move. They carried him to the court of Ravana. So Ravana saw this monkey Hanuman in a completely helpless condition. Immediately kill him. His stepbrother Vibhishan said, "My dear brother, this will ruin your reputation. He is an envoy. He is a messenger of the enemy. The messenger of the enemy always must be respected. You can never kill. You will lose your reputation and all your potency if you do such a sinful thing." So Ravana said, "Yes, that is true, but we must do something to him. He is a monkey. The most proud part of a monkey is his tail. So burned his tail. So the Rakshasa took his tail and put cotton cloth and soaked it in ghee and then lit it on fire at that time. Then the news came to Sita that Hanuman's tail was on fire, and Sita began to pray to Agni, the fire god. Omens chastity to her husband is her virtue. If I have been chaste and faithful to my husband, O Agnidev, please grant me the benediction that Hanuman's tails will not feel hot although it is on fire. So Agnidev said, so be it. So as his tail was on dragging fire, it felt very cool and refreshing to Hanuman by the blessings of Goddess Sita. And then he enlarged himself and broke from the ropes that tied him, and he just took in his fist the end of the ropes that were around him, and he just started swinging them, and he completely masquerade kill all the guards that were trying to stop him and hold him down. Thousands of them lay dead and bloody all around, and then he just very gracefully as monkey does, he jumped on top of the building, and the building caught fire, and then he jumped to the next building, and that caught fire, and the next building, and that caught fire. In this way he was just jumping all over Sri Lanka, and the whole city was enveloped with huge flames of fire, and the Rakshasas were completely disoriented. They were just running around here and there. They did not know what to do, and Hanuman began to laugh, and he got on the main gate, and he began to call out that I am just the insignificant messenger of Rama. I am just giving you one teeny little taste of what you are in store for when the Supreme Lord Sri Ramchandra comes himself in the near future. And then he began his journey back over the Indian Ocean. And of course, when he arrived, all the monkeys they were very anxious for news, and they were completely ecstatic to hear the news of how Hanuman had burned the city of Lanka, found Sita, and humiliated all the Rakshasas. And they were so anxious that Hanuman, you must now come with us to Kiskinda jungle and inform Rama. He will be so happy. You see, this is the nature of a real Vaishnava. He loves to see another Vaishnava successful. He loves to see another Vaishnava do something great. He loves to see the Lord bestowing his great pleasure upon another devotee. Something due to envy in the neophyte condition, we could become very disturbed in our mind when someone else is getting credit, when someone else is getting special mercy, or when someone else is superseding us in our service. But because these soldiers were genuinely humble servants of the Lord, they could see every living being as part and parcel of Lord Ram, and it is his divine potency, and if he manifests his super excellent potencies through any of our God brothers or any of our friends, this is a wonderful thing. We should adore, we should worship. So, when Hanuman was embraced by Lord Ramchandra, when he was given the utmost blessings of Ramchandra, this was the greatest happiness for all of the other devotees of the Lord. So, this story of Hanumanji illustrates to us how a devotee in his service or her service does not consider what is the possible and what is impossible, because after all Krishna is the doer, we are not the doer. Along with the Guru's order comes the empowerment to fulfill that order. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.7.23. With the mercy of Guru, even a lame man can cross mountains. Hanuman, because he had faith in his Guru, not only did he cross mountains, he lifted up mountains and he carried them thousands of miles. When he got to that mountain, he was not thinking it looks very heavy. How is this possible? He was thinking simply, Rama wants this mountain. He was not considering his own strength. He was not considering. He was thinking simply, Rama wants this mountain. He was not considering his own strength. He was not considering whether it's possible or impossible. There was only one consideration. Rama wants it, it will be done. He just picked it up and brought it back to Rameswaram. There is another story at the same place of Rameswaram. The main temple there today is placed called Rameswaram. Rameswaram temple, big beautiful temple. It is an interesting story because after Rama killed Ravana, Ravana was born of a Brahmin family, so it's an offense to kill a Brahmana. So he was told to worship Lord Shiva to atone for this offense. And whether offense may have been committed, some people say, why is he worshipping Lord Shiva? Shiva is Vaishnava Nam Yatha Sambhu. He is a great devotee of Ram. So who's the greatest, Rama or Shiva? This is an example of how the Lord takes great pleasure in worshipping his devotees. So the Brahmanas there, they told him that you have to do this puja to Shiva Linga at this very time. You have only a few hours and puja must be complete before then. They told him that there is an auspicious Shiva links at mountain Kailash, the abode of Shiva, and you should get that. So Rama looked at Hanuman and Hanuman said, my lord, I will get it. Now you have to understand, Rameswaram is in the southern tip of India and Kailash is in the northern part, which is now Tibet in the Himalayas. Thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, Hanuman was not thinking, how is it possible? How can you ask me to do something like this? He was thinking, Rama, you want it, it will be done. He was not considering the place. He was not considering the distance. He was not considering his own strength. He was simply considering Rama wants it. So he jumped, he went all the way to Kailash and then he found this huge Shivalinga and he found another one. He thought, I will keep this one for myself. And then he was flying with both of them. And while he was flying or jumping, the Brahmin said, Rama, it's time. You have to do it now. Hanuman is not back yet. So Sita Devi, she made a Shivalinga out of sand and she said, Ram, why don't you worship this? It was made with my own hands. So Rama said, all right, and he worshipped that Shiva Linga and as he was worshipping, Hanuman came with this big gigantic stones forms of Lord Shiva, and Hanuman was very disappointed. He started to cry, I am too late, my dear Lord, I have disappointed you. I am too late, you have accepted this another one. So Rama completed the worship of Sita offering, and then he said, Hanuman, I will worship yours.
And he said, as a matter of fact, from this day on, this temple will contain gods, and no one can offer obeisance or worship Sita's until they first worship yours. So to this day, everyone worship Hanumans. They are still there, and then they worship Sita. Now, this is how dear Lord's devotee is to the Lord, because the devotee is simply depending on the mercy of his worshipable beloved Lord. No other consideration. Even if you are lame, you can cross mountains. Even if you are dumb, you can speak eloquently. And even if you are blind, you can see the stars in the sky. If you have the mercy of Guru and the mercy of Krishna. And it is this faith that empowers the devotee to perform wonderful work in the service of the Lord. And by hearing the example of such great devotees as Hanuman, we should realize within our heart and appreciate that nothing is impossible for one who agrees to be an instrument in the hand of God. So, our prayer should always be to be an instrument of the mercy of the Lord, to empty ourselves of all false pride, of all material attachments, because unless and until we are completely empty of all our superficial desires and attachments, we are preventing the Lord from allowing us to be His instrument. Therefore, it is said, purity is the force, because the force is God, the force is Krishna. But as long as we are impure, that force cannot come through us. As we become pure, the Lord who is seated within our heart can take us and empower us to do anything He desires. So, by chanting the holy name, serving the Vaishnavas, and praying with sincere heart, and being willing to take the order of Guru and Krishna as our life and soul, we can attain that state of purity and allow Krishna and Guru to become our puppeteers. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, as far as he was concerned, making the people of America Krishna conscious was millions of times more impossible even than what Hanuman did. So he was praying to Krishna and God and Guru that I am just an insignificant little beggar. My dear Lord, I am a puppet in your hand. Let me just be your puppet here. Make me dance, oh Lord. And because of that utterly prideless, unmotivated, prayerful surrender to the Lord, how the Lord empowered him to do such wonderful service. There is nothing impossible for one who allows himself to be an instrument of the Lord. The only impediment is our own pride, our own material attachments. The greatest service, the ultimate service is to simply humble ourselves. How can I serve you? There is nothing I cannot do. There is nothing I cannot give up if I have faith in Guru and Krishna. तो इसमें इस देर ये तो खत्म हो गया क्वेश्चन इस देर
श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा बंदो मोई सब धन मते यहाँ प्रसादे भाई ए भवतरियाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति है यहाँ है के गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्य चिते ते करिया क्या हर न करिह मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ये प्रसादे पुरे सर्वासा चक्षुदान दिलो जेई जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से विद्या ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जन्म बंधु लोकनाथ लोके प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हृदयस कुश त्रिभुवन घोष त्रिभुवन Srila Prabhupada Nitai Jai Gaura Nitai Jai Jaya Narsingadev 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 Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Lakshmi Narsinga Jaya Lakshmi Narsinga Lakshmi Narsinga Jaya Lakshmi Narsinga Jaya Ugra Narsinga Jaya Ugra Narsinga Jaya Ugra Narsinga Jaya Ugra Narsinga Jai Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Jai Sudarshana Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram Jai Giriraj Maharaj Giriraj Maharaj Giriraj Maharaj Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Jai Gaur Premanandi Jai Shishi गिरिराज महाराज की जय कृष्ण राम की जय गुरु महाराज की जय
उस दिन भी ठीक था, आप बोले कि 2 दिन रेस्ट करो। जी हाँ, जूस रेडी है।